Welcome to Oddball. Happy Monday. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Elhassan. Amin, we are starting with some news that I am very excited about that just broke as of this recording. Kristaps Porzingis.
I thought you were going to say free hot dogs at NBA games this week.
Wait, is that true?
No.
Oh,
so I think it's something that would make you happy.
That would. Did you see my face? That would make me extremely happy. Kristaps is returning tonight against the Clippers, which makes me almost as happy as free hot dogs. He is going to make his return after 5 months rehabbing from a torn medial reticulum, which we said enough last year when this happened that I actually know how to pronounce it. The Celtics are so good that Kristaps sort of feels like a luxury. I feel like this should be a massive deal where it's like one of your stars is coming back. Now things can really start turning around. And instead it's like, oh, okay, they just got like another cashmere sweater.
That's a good way to make it. That would be amazing if that became his nickname. Kristaps, the cashmere sweater, Porzingis.
Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
He walks in kind of like with the sweater around his like with a preppy look and all that. Yeah, maybe.
Look, it's New England.
No, this is what they've been. That's been a weakness of them up front. You know, they've been attacked on the glass. You think about the game where they ended up beating Cleveland, but a lot of that comeback was Cleveland was very active on the offensive glass. And so Porzingis gives them a little bit more size. It moves Horford back to your bench. It balances things out. Obviously, it gives them yet another shooter on the floor that gives them more shooting because now instead of playing Neemias Queta or whoever as your backup big who isn't not Zeller. I'm getting
Hauser?
old. No, I'm getting old. The big kid.
Luke Cornett.
I called him Luke Zeller. Oh my God. Luke Cornett. You know, those guys are non-shooters. They have to play. Now Porzingis starts. Horford comes off the bench. Now those minutes are going to Horford. Yeah. You're pretty much staying with 5 shooters on the floor almost at all times.
It's crazy.
It's a big deal for them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you think it'll be a big deal for them? Well, it wasn't a big deal for them last night. They didn't need Porzingis. Right?
No.
Because they dispatched of the Minnesota Timberwolves without much ado, 107-105. The game was competitive, but Celtics won. I feel like it was never in doubt. But Charlotte, I know you were very closely monitoring this game. What did you like about this one?
I mean, what I really liked was Jaylen Brown's defense, which Joe Mazzulla actually talked about in the press conference. But Jaylen Brown's defense to me was kind of another part of what I think the Celtics are showing overall this year. Whereas last year, the year before, a game like this, I feel like it could have been one that they let slip away, that they didn't do the little things that you need to do, like secure the ball, make sure you're getting those rebounds, make sure you're not being sloppy. And they got the win. And I think that it speaks to the confidence of this team. I feel like the confidence of this team has gone up in ways. I feel like they were pretty insecure last year, despite being very good. And I think some of that was what the discourse this summer was kind of a hangover from that. It was people seeing like, hey, I don't know if they believe they're as good as they are. And this year, I think that we're seeing that they are that good and they believe it. And Jaylen Brown has struggled from 3, but he was shooting 28% coming into this game. But he hit 5 threes in the first 3 minutes of the game. So you might think it's funny I say his defense. He finished 7 of 10 from deep. And I think this is obviously physics because he got to meet Bill Nye the Science Guy.
This is obviously physics. Obviously, sure. Why not?
He tweeted that he wanted to meet him and then he got to meet him. So you tell me what else has happened.
Did they get was Bill Nye at the game or did they get him tickets to the game?
That is a good question.
I feel like that makes a huge difference.
All right, I'm going to dig into this.
Yeah, you do that. You go ahead and hit the research and come back to me with an answer.
Okay. I mean, okay, whatever. We're going to talk about the Lakers and the Nuggets. This is a new season. This is the same result. I mean, the Lakers have looked good, but they were no match for the Nuggets. 127-102. Why are you laughing so hard?
I'm laughing at the feverish ability by someone in the note to be like, Bill Nye was at the Wizards game, and you were like, whatever, man, let's just move on.
Well, because I have a feeling it's Hank, our wonderful producer Hank, who's a Wizards fan, which is the only reason he would know that, which is the last thing most people care about, and it's really cute. And now I wasn't going to say it, but now we said it. So, Lakers Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets dispatched of them very handily, 127-102. Aaron Gordon did not play. Denver has now won 12 of the last 13 games against the Lakers. Michael Porter Jr. owns a career record of 13-3. So he's, how do you say that? Why am I having a brain fart? You know, where it's like above 500 when you have 0.813?
The win percentage?
Yeah. Can you say it? The number part?
0.813?
Is that just how you say it? There's no other word?
813 win percentage? What? 81% win percent? I don't know what you're looking for here.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to say that. Anyway, when he starts against LeBron, which is the best record of players with over 10 starts against LeBron. What's going on here? Is this again just physics, or are the Nuggets in the Lakers' heads?
Yeah, it's physics, all right. It's called the Nuggets are better, right? Like this is the weirdest thing. This thing where we try to continuously, I guess, through two playoff matchups and countless regular season matchups in between, trying to put like the Nuggets and the Lakers on the same plane. They're not. The Nuggets are clearly better. It would be like if the Pacers lost to the Celtics 12 of 13 times. Will we sit around and ask what it is about the Celtics that is in the heads of the Pacers? No, we just accept, oh yeah, because the Celtics are way better. And so this is a case of one team is way better that has a player who's way, way better than anybody on the other team who they don't have any answers for. And then if you want to do some more metaphysical kind of sprinkling on top, Russell Westbrook in the second half of that game was sensational, and he clearly took that super personal in a way that I don't think anyone on either team other than him did.
Yeah. I mean, this obviously to me feels like being blinded by LeBron, because the Pacers, no one would ever say that, Pacers Celtics, but LeBron is on the Lakers, and that therefore immediately people are like, well, they should win. The fact is that the Nuggets have the best is it the best offense of all time when Jokic is on the floor?
Yeah, when he's on the floor, their offensive rating is better than the best offensive rating of any team in NBA history. When he's off the floor, their offensive rating is worse than any offensive rating of any team in NBA history, barring the Memphis Grizzlies game where, if I know, the Grizzlies just decided, you know what, I'm going to let them score 122. We've said this multiple times now, that stat about the Nuggets offense. I can't wrap my head around it. I can wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around the fact that the Grizzlies gave up 122 points to that version of the Nuggets. Still can't believe it. So Charlotte, Jokic is now, but surprise, surprise, the favorite to win MVP at plus 190 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Next up is SGA at plus 300, and then Jason Tatum at plus 400. Should Jokic win MVP?
I feel like at this point, I mean, like, yes. The simple answer I feel like is yes, because the way, like, that stat alone of the offensive rating is to me says everything. This man, when he's on the court, there's nothing he and his team can't do. He makes them better. And you had a point about his defense.
Yeah, look, he has no weaknesses. If I ask people, I think the layperson, what do you think his weaknesses are? They probably would say, oh, he's not so good at defense. He's not defending. He's good at that too now. Guess what? Now we reached that point where he's good at that. That thing that you guys harped on, now he's good at that. Now what do we do? Because he already makes everybody better offensively. He's already unstoppable in his own right offensively. But now defensively, he's not only not a liability, he is a positive on the defensive end. And so I don't know, man. I'm at a point where, look, the only thing that's going to save us from a Jokic fourth MVP is just the Nuggets record right now isn't great. And I think voters like to reward players that are on the best teams rather than good teams, but not doing so great.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that we're past the Jokic athleticism conversation, which I think we dismantled last year? I hate it more than anything. He looks lumbering, because when you said most people, you'd say, what's his weakness? I feel like a lot of people would also say oh, well, he's lumbering, or he looks like he's playing hungover in flip-flops. And it's like, that clearly does not matter.
Yeah, like it's like, all right, can you stop him? No, and he has a way of stopping you. Yeah, and clearly it doesn't matter that what the aesthetics are. I think you're always going to get that conversation because people. I mean, the aesthetics is what you see, right? Like the first blush at what you see is like, oh my God. But then it starts working, like, oh, okay, I see how it goes. But your first reaction is always going to be, why has he always got like tiger stripes on his arm? Like someone just slashed him. I don't know.
He really does. He's always like bleeding a little bit.
Always bleeding. Yep.
Anyway, I mean, let's talk about Jared McCain because last week we forced him into the conversation to bring some joy to the Sixers story. After the Sixers beat the Nets, check out this, see what Jared McCain said about himself.
TV broadcast may or may not have caught you after one of your shots, like possibly saying, I'm the rookie of the year in celebration or something along those lines. Or so, there was this, I guess maybe just speak to the passion that you feel what that feels like in the moment when you make a big shot and you're kind of in that zone.
Yeah, I say I'm in the flow state, so I don't know what came to my mind at that moment, but I guess I said that. And
you guess.
Yeah, I did say that. I did.
Okay.
It was pretty clear.
There we go.
Okay, I mean, before we talk about the actual odds for Jared McCain being Rookie of the Year, do we think that I didn't see this coming? Do we think that Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey are the new Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns from last year in terms of being the press conference buddy comedy?
I mean, I definitely like Maxey's reaction. It's like he's just like casually drinking a smoothie, and then he hears what McCain had allegedly said in the game. He turns and looks at him like, "Pardon me, come again."
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I hope we get more of it. I hope we get more of it.
I did too. Although it's funny, there's a former NBA player who's a coach in the league right now who sent me a text saying 3-12. We haven't even had turkey yet, and this guy's talking about awards.
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, that's because he is minus 130, the favorite to win on DraftKings.
He's the favorite?
Yeah. Jared McCain.
And not the Statue of Liberty?
Are you talking about Zach Edey?
Well, I'm just saying, we had 25 points in a preseason game. I thought we just gift wrapped it for him there as he went about slow and lumbering. He's slow and lumbering up to the podium like, let me get
Wouldn't it be funny if you were actually talking about the Statue of Liberty?
Pretty much.
Like if the Statue of Liberty played basketball.
The same height and the same agility.
Yeah, but he's not playing in the all of that fabric would make it even worse.
It's a warm-up. It comes off.
Okay, whatever. Let's go back to the Sixers because I want to talk about the Sixers. There's still time for them to turn things around, right? Obviously, the East sucks. We've covered that. But to me, it's less about like, look, obviously, if Joel Embiid is healthy, if Paul George is healthy, if Tyrese Maxey's healthy, if they have a chance to play together, this is obviously going to be a decent team at the very least. But I think what worries me is the vibes, especially the leak. Have you seen it? No, I'm serious. Like, have you seen a team get past this kind of distrust in the locker room?
Yes. Yes, I have. And get past is relative, right?
Right.
Are they kumbaya and they like drum circled their way to a championship afterward? No. But for this team, I think at this point, we just expect them get your season on track and then get to the playoffs and then have an honorable showing. And that's acceptable enough for those of us on the outside. But look, even so, I don't know if we just got done talking about this. I'm so messed up in the timeline, but basically the Eastern Conference is so bad, no one's out of it. No one's really out of it. And so even as they sit here, the second worst record with one more win than the Washington Wizards, oh my God, it's giving me a migraine just say that. They're only 7 games back of the 3 seed. 6 games back of the 4 seed, which is home court advantage in the first round, and 4.5 games back of being above the play-in line. There's plenty of time. The bigger question isn't about trust or any of that, or camaraderie or any of that. The bigger question is, can they be healthy? Can Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid be all healthy at the same time? So far, we got one half of basketball of those three together. Can we get more? That's going to dictate whether they do well, they get the season on track or not.
I guess that also just dictates the vibes, because when you're playing well and you're winning, a lot of things become less of a problem. But I mean, I want to talk to you about the All-Star game. We all know you have very strong thoughts about
welcome.
this. Okay.
You're welcome.
Last week, Shams Sharani of ESPN provided more detail on how this is going to look, on how the All-Star game is going to work this year. It's a 4-team tournament style, 2 semifinal games of up to 40 points. Up to 40 points. And then the winners advance. And then the finals game up to 25 points. This, I don't quite understand. Can you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Well, I'll explain it to you like I would have explained it to you in 2017 when I came up with this idea. You're welcome again, NBA. God, they should just make me in charge of All-Star Weekend.
Okay.
Just clear out. Give it to me. Give me a budget. I'll fix it all. I'll do it, Adam. I'll do it, Mark. I'll do it, Joe. Just trust me.
Okay.
2017, Charlotte, I went to the NHL All-Star game in Los Angeles, and I was floored. Floored, I tell you. Because they didn't have an All-Star game like, okay, East versus West or World versus... They didn't do that. They split up the teams by the divisions. Each division had its own All-Star team, and then they played a little round-robin tournament. And then we figured it all out. And I said, that's what the NBA needs to do. You want to save All-Star Weekend? You want to make this thing more fun, more engaging? You do that. You throw some money in there. Boom. Fixed. What do they do?
So here's a question.
No. I got a question for you. Hey, how do you think people reacted when Amin came up with the idea of like, what if we borrow the NHL All-Star format? How do you think they reacted?
I imagine they didn't. They said you were...
They called me nuts, Charlotte. Okay. They called me crazy. Oh my God, that'll never happen. Oh, that works for hockey. Doesn't work here. 7 years later, nobody says thank you. Just like nobody said thank you when I saved y'all asses. Every last one of you guys. From All-Star Weekend in Detroit, Milwaukee, and Cleveland.
People said thank you for that.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And then, you know, I had to hear, oh, we've all been saying that. No, you haven't. Nobody made it on record as much as I did. But guess what?
Thank you. I mean, you know what? If they're not going to say it, I'll say it. Thank you for saving All-Star Weekend. Thank you for bringing this idea to the public conscience. I'm so sorry. Nobody took it seriously when you said it in 2017. Now, my question is, why will players care more about a tournament format than one game?
Because it's short. It's short. Boom, bam, boom. We find out really quickly, if you don't want to be in this, you're out. And then you lose out on the money. Because there's money for that. There's money for winning the first one, and there's money for winning. You got to, see, you can't just give them a lump sum of money at the end. You got to, it's like Hansel and Gretel, little bit of breadcrumbs of money. And then they got to follow it. And then here we are in the championship.
And you think that NBA players, does this go back to where you're like, they'll bet on anything, like they're competitive in any regard, and that it being shorter, maybe also it not having the normal format or the same feel of a game where you can kind of zone out or sit on the bench or whatever, like you really got to lock in. And by the way, who the fourth team is going to be, right? It's going to be 3 teams, and then the fourth team is going to be the winners of the Rookie Sophomore Challenge, the Rising Stars Challenge. Okay, so that's where it's going to kick in, because now you gonna let kids come in here and take your money. Yeah, exactly. They don't want to get their ass kicked by the Rising Stars. So, all right. Well, we'll see if this works. I'm excited. It'll at least be more entertaining. When we come back, we are going to be playing Prop-a-Slot, which is quickly becoming one of our favorite games. Stick around. Did we actually win at that one? Well, no, we lose at that too. It's just fun. Welcome back to Oddball. It is time for Prop-a-Slot. Prop-a-Slot is presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Hell yeah. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know if you know the rules, but the slot machine is going to generate a real DraftKings prop bet from tonight's games. And so here's how it works. We get to take one of these 3 spins. We can decide whether that's the first one, whether that's the second one. But if we pass on the first 2, we have to take the third.
You have to think. Okay.
I don't think we have won at this yet either, but that's fine. It's the thought that counts. Let's see the first spin.
That's the new slogan. DraftKings. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah.
All right. Let's see here. We have that's LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
Under on points. Under 30.5 points for LaMelo Ball. It's going for -110. He had a scoring explosion. Who's he playing against? I don't know. He had a scoring explosion versus the Bucks. He had 50 in the loss there. Now, the Bucks have had the worst defense in the league at defending point guards this season, allowing them to score over 28 a game. So let's zag on the LaMelo hype while we can and go under. Are you with me on this one, Charlotte?
No, I don't like betting the unders. They're playing the Magic.
Playing the Magic. Okay, so it's a good defensive team.
I know, but something about, I feel like anytime, I don't know, just because he scored so much, I don't think that's a reason that he won't score so much. What if it means that he just gets going? I mean, I don't know. Look, I think we should go to the second one because I think we've taken the first one twice and it hasn't worked.
Okay, all right.
So let's see what the second bet is.
Let's see what we got. It's spinning. That noise for the audio audiences means it's spinning, and it has landed on. Is that Ja Morant?
Oh, wow.
That's Ja Morant over on points.
Ooh.
19.5 points.
I like this.
The Portland Trailblazers going from -105. So Ja's on track to play his first game back in over 3 weeks.
Oh.
And it'll be against the Portland Trailblazers, as I mentioned. He was listed as questionable on Sunday. Last time we saw him, he was doing these crazy 360-degree layups, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
We bet on Ja to have a nice scoring day in his return.
Overnight.
He's going to score 20 points or more. But it's his first game back. But it is against the Portland Trailblazers. So do with that.
You know what? Yeah, I kind of like this. Over 19.5 for -105. Or should we go to the third spin?
I kind of feel like the third spin, man. I don't like because Ja's coming back.
Might be it.
The first game back, and it's a hip injury too. I don't know how he feels.
Yeah.
See what the third spin is talking about. That's going. It's going. We land on Karl Anthony Towns over 3-point makes, 2.5 3-point makes to be exact. That's at Denver.
I like this. I know that we're stuck with this no matter what. We don't really have a choice, but this is what I would have chosen. Over 2.5 threes at Nuggets is +115. He has been the Knicks' best scorer. I mean, he's not going to be able to guard Jokic, but offensively, maybe that won't matter. I think he can do this. I think it just takes the right timing, and I think he can get open enough for 3 threes. So
he's got to make 3 threes. That's what's on the docket for him. Now, last year, Charlotte, when they played the Denver Nuggets and they won in 7 games, he hit more than 3 threes. He hit more than 2.5 threes in twice. He did it twice in game 2 and game 3. He made 3 and 4 threes. He also made 2 threes in 2 other games. And then every other game, he was kind of awful at it. A couple of years before that, when he played Denver, let's see, he never made 3 threes. And that's going to do it for the.
Well, so
it's something that he hasn't done a whole hell of a lot, at least not in the playoffs. Let's see.
Well, the way that we've been betting things, we've been using logic. So I think it's time that we just say, you know what? Well, first of all, we don't have a choice, which makes the whole thing much easier. But I do think this is possible. It's November.
In his career, in the regular season, he's had 35 total threes in 23 games against the Denver Nuggets. Yes, I'm with you. Well, we have to take the bet. It's not us, but you know what? Maybe this is the one.
Maybe this is it.
Yep.
So we are going with Karl Anthony Towns over 2.5 threes at the Nuggets for +115. I mean, it's been a pleasure as always, and we hope everybody listening has a great Thanksgiving week. We'll be back with some special guests for the rest of this week. We'll see you then.
Michael Jordan's the GOAT.